Join discord.gg/flatearth and enter a VC check-in room, and someone will come along to VC Riffia to get involved with the conversation about Earth.
Enemy spotted.
Pinky Bandinski again.
Welcome.
Hello, Arthur Grass.
How's it going, man?
YouTube, and I noticed how you were saying like a flat Earth, globe Earth is kind of believe in a religion. So if you want, could I possibly at a very high level, not even really going into specific like observations or experiments, just tell you why I think the globe is flat. Sorry, not flat, round, spherical. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I didn't want to cough into the microphone, so it kind of interrupted my ability to respond quickly.
Oh,
but yeah, go ahead, man.
So yeah, and also just to let you know, if you don't want to, because sometimes people don't like Globe Earth is coming in here. So if you ever don't want to talk to me, that's fine. I don't want to like ruin this chat by being here. But anyway, just add it really quickly. It seems like science can never prove anything right. Really can just add evidence to it. So if you ask the question like, what shape is this world, this planet that we live on, or if it even is a planet, you can construct two models. You can have one in which the Earth is spherical and one in which it's flat. And then you can ask yourself, if it was either flat or spherical, what sort of observations would we expect to see? And so it just, to me, it's like there's just so much evidence in supporting the spherical Earth. Like, for example, and this might be a bit of a gish gallop because I'm going to be jumping from thing to thing. But at the end, we can talk about the individual stuff. But so for example, celestial objects moving, their apparent position in the sky changing as you change on the surface of the Earth, that supports us living on Earth with the radius that we expect it to. Right now, there could be other explanations, or maybe light's bending, but we don't observe that sort of stuff. But there's other science experiments as well. So like gyroscopes, if you change latitude, assuming the Earth is spinning and that's why the stars move, the gyroscope's rate of change changes based on the latitude in the way you'd expect. There's stuff like, the Yatvos effect. So basically, if you move in a certain direction, depending on your latitude, you weigh less because of centrifugal force. There's, every other planet in the solar system looks spherical. So it's like, seems like that's a bit of evidence. Again, none of this stuff proves that the Earth is flat or round. Like as Einstein said, no amount of experimentation can ever prove me right, and a single experiment can prove me wrong. But I'm just saying that just probabilistically, it all kind of starts to add up to the point where you could almost say that either all established science is completely wrong, or either all of flat Earth theory is completely wrong. And it's kind of like a mutually exclusive set of things. But that's only the first part of my argument, which is the probability in terms of the positive claim that it's spherical. The next part is the probability that there's this huge conspiracy. Like, because that would be to be honest, at this point, the only way that it couldn't be spherical really is if there's this huge conspiracy, because we have photos of it being spherical in space. So that means essentially the scope of this conspiracy just seems probabilistically unlikely. Essentially all scientists from a whole diverse set of fields from tons of different countries, different government entities over the past thousands of years would had to all be working together to pull this over pull the wool over people's eyes.
I completely agree. That's why it's flat.
I know, but think about so different militaries, for instance, they would have, or countries, they would have a lot of incentive to teach their troops, or to have the position, to basically make sure that their people know the true shape of the battlefield, or
I agree.
Different companies.
That's why they train for high altitude stuff in relation to stuff like that. They pretty much treat the Earth as a flat and stationary plane.
Oh yeah, well that's somewhat
for
actually
flight,
that's a good point.
For launching missiles, all that stuff. They just kind of say, okay, that's over there.
Yeah, they do that sometimes for for when you don't need to, for simplified models. Sometimes they do that, but it goes beyond even like essentially all shipping companies, airline companies, cartographers, obviously space companies, transnational companies, odometer manufacturers, satellite TV providers, like so many different government agencies, like different space agencies, like NASA and the Soviet Union's space Roscosmos. They have, game theoretically, if you know what that is, they have a lot of incentive to break from this lie, essentially. Because they want to outcompete the other people. It would make sense for them to, basically sort of break from this. Or I think about this: all the people that on their deathbeds, when they really have nothing else to lose, on their deathbeds, if they're people part of this conspiracy, they would have no nothing to fear from breaking this or spilling the beans of this secret. But and in fact they'd have a lot to gain, because they'd be famous if they, like, for example, if President Joe Biden, when he was about to die, was like, the earth is flat, he'd be like, that would be.
I promise you that everybody in here would still be like, screw you for even saying that, Joe Biden.
Well, anyway, so yeah,
But
so I guess,
I get what you're saying. Like, but that's the thing, man. Is even if anybody did, which how would we know who did and who didn't? Because it's like, deathbed confessions. Not all of them leave that room, and even so, a lot of these people, they end up kind of foggy in the head. Like when they're older, they don't really remember much of anything. They just kind of fade away and die.
well, I mean, okay, so at what
There's
point?
no confession to be had for those ones anyway. And then you got people like Gus Grissom and company who get like, how are we going to get to the moon if we can't talk between three buildings? And then they get fried, like within less than 10 minutes. Like,
Yeah, I guess.
but I get what you're saying, that you've got all this other stuff, but most of the things that they're doing is based off of standardized practices. When it comes to how this is the mass that we're using for stuff, we're going to send this up and do this. So, but they can build mathematical frameworks that function as far as for their technological systems, but that doesn't make that reality. Like, they can obviously navigate, so you can get things going around in a circle over the earth, and it'll still function and do all these things that they are saying that it does. You can still from the ground see something and look up and be like, hey, this is doing that. Like, yeah, that's true. But it's the story behind why it's doing that, and like what they're saying is going on.
Well,
And even so, they wouldn't know, because for the same reason, it's like most people have never been to a high enough altitude to see the curve or whatever, because you're so tiny and you've got to be so high. Yet most people have never been high enough to see the curve, because you're so tiny and you have to be so high. So it's a belief.
oh, yeah, I get what you mean. You're saying you don't really need that many people to hold this secret, possibly, and the systems
Even
that they
then, the
like.
people who might know, right, they might be in denial, right? So they're like, to them, they might know full well, but still be like, no, and their ego is in the way of them accepting it. They got that full-on cog this, so many yes men and so much money that, I can't possibly be wrong. Like that kind of thing. They can't even see their own folly. And then we have them on a pedestal. Oh, look, the big brain guy, he knows what he's talking about. And then the big brain guy's like, I can't possibly be wrong. Everybody says I know what I'm talking about.
And wait, does this big brain guy, is he like a CEO of a company or something that you're talking about?
Could be anybody. And usually money is the primary driving force for a lot of people, especially in a company position like CEO.
And you're saying he believes in a spherical Earth, and he's.
They could, yeah, that's what I'm saying. They don't have to actually like know that the earth is flat. A lot of these people are so rich that how would they ever know? They're so disconnected too. Like, I'll just pay this guy to do this and that guy to do that, and then I'll do what I want. Now I have a rocket and I can go for a flight.
But at a certain point, like if it was easy, like if all the scientific things that I mentioned to you were like they didn't actually support a spherical Earth. It was all kind of a conspiracy. So they were like faking data, for instance, or like faking. Obviously,
I'd say,
all the like pictures of the Earth would have to be CGI, like the a lot of like from space, and
well,
like all the
the popular things like the Blue Marble 2.0 is admittedly photoshopped and as that guy imagined that it would be. I even have you can go to NASA and actually get all of the assets that he used to make it and make your own version if you want to. Which I've done that before. Like the assets are actually pretty cool. Like I've downloaded a bunch of stuff from NASA. There's all kinds of things. There's 3D models and things you can work with using like Unity or other stuff. And then experiment with the math that they give you to see how it would look in models.
So do you think that there's any humans have been to space at all, or that any satellites in the sky are real?
Even in accordance with what they say about the moon, right? Say they actually went to the moon. They're now saying that the moon's atmosphere goes, or the Earth's atmosphere goes beyond the moon. And they say the atmosphere reaches to the other side of the moon. So even in that case, even if they went to the moon, they still didn't leave Earth's atmosphere, technically.
Well, the exosphere goes to the moon. That's
so my point is nobody's been to, quote, outer space.
Well, I mean, that's like making an argument from definition, but like it depends what you mean by outer space. I mean, they say what they say is plain. They're saying they went to the moon.
I don't believe that they went to the moon, but I would agree that yes, people have been to high altitudes, but that doesn't mean much.
Well,
nobody's left Earth.
But do you think, like, say, for example, the ISS is a real thing?
High altitude aircraft exist, is my point. I'm not in denial of that. Whether or not there's people on there or what those people are doing is another story. How that's portrayed, right. What's happening there, like that's all something else.
I think so. Right now we're having we're making arguments from the definition of like what it means to go to space and everything. But like we can define what we mean. Like say above 100 kilometers, we'll call that space if you want, or just for this conversation. It's not even in general. Just so then we can agree with, at least be on the same page. And at that altitude, it wouldn't really even be an aircraft because it's not really like generating lift all that much. It's kind of just orbiting Earth. I mean, it has a tiny bit of lift possibly, but that's.
Donato shared a link, by the way, that kind of cites what I was talking about. It has to do with because there's also some graphics that they show that are a little bit more scientific, I guess. They look like the memes in a book that you'd see at school anyway, the ones that I'm talking about. And it shows that exosphere that you're talking about. It has like the atmosphere going around, and it's got this bubble kind of thing that goes around to where the moon is.
Yeah.
And so that was my point, is that entire area, everything we regard as this is part of what we call Earth. This is home. And everything here is part of home. The moon is still inside of home.
Yeah, I mean, but no scientist would agree. Well, I mean, not agree, disagree with you. Like, there are air molecules up there. There's air molecules.
So that's what my standard would be for the definition for these high altitude things. Is nobody? This is still a contained environment that nobody has left.
Yeah, but just so you know, though, it's not like it's like it's not like basically in the exosphere, the air molecules are so far apart
I know what
that they travel like in a straight line.
The parts per volume are like super far apart. It's like it'd be like a particle, like a molecule over here, an atom, and then like several feet away, there'd be like another one. I know what it says. I understand that.
Okay.
It's not that I'm ignorant of it. It's I compare it as being worldviews and perspectives from people who are going based off of something that they've seen at a distance. Like their studies of it are mostly based off of the opinions of somebody else. It's a hierarchy of people. I've got this, and I say that. Okay, but out of any of us, have any of us proved it? If you were to think objectively, like you're the scientist, now you have to confirm what these people have said. Have they told me the truth? Well, look at it objectively and find out: is this real? What can I prove? Because it's not about the story that we're told. Like we can all look that up. We're all born into it. Like I went to school. I know.
Well, yes. So that's a good point, because you're bringing me back to like why I joined this chat in the first place, which is why most people have never done experiments. Like I don't think Joe Biden's ever like done celestial navigation or anything, but he believes in a spherical Earth. I think the reason is probably like, let me ask you, do you believe that India is a country like that exists?
That's stupid. That's fucking dumb.
Wait, Aeroglass. It's the same thing as like basically not believing that India exists, even though I've never been
No.
to India.
You can
No,
go
I-
there, man.
No.
You can
Yeah, it's
go
a
to
false
India.
equivalence.
That's
India is just a
Go to
country.
India.
That's not an extraordinary claim. That's not fantastical. Your outer space vacuum, that's more on par with, say, Narnia. That's the category that goes in, not the same category as a country.
Well, so the reason I'm using that comparison is just because, in terms of the conspiracy, think about all the things that would have to be true for India to not
conspiracy?
exist. Like if there is a conspiracy where India literally it doesn't exist, like the Himalayas just ends.
Who
and then it
said
goes
India
to the,
doesn't
to
exist?
the
why.
to the water. Like essentially, like
Who
everyone
said
I've met from
India
India
doesn't exist?
would have to be actors. All the footage from India would have to be
Who said
CGI.
India doesn't exist?
No, I'm just. This is a
This is what's
an
called a straw
analogy.
man argument.
It's stupid.
I'm just making
It
an
is
analogy
stupid.
to.
Yeah, you're
It's not an
presenting cartoon.
analogy.
You're presenting cartoon images of a ball Earth with curving oceans all over it. Nowhere on the Earth do you actually see anything like that. It's not on par with India or any footage from India. Your point is stupid.
Oh, well, anyway.
Explain to me why would India have to be CGI? Because you kind of made a very weird claim, and I've never heard that one before.
Okay, so yeah, just to go back to why I'm saying this, because you said you have to do the experiments yourself. You can't just trust people that have done this stuff for you. And I'm just saying probabilistically, since so much of the world believes in this stuff, and you'd have to think how hard would it be to keep this secret?
Who
And who
cares?
would have to be involved? I'm just
you were
saying.
making a
I'm just
comparison.
saying wait, can I just finish really quickly?
No,
It's a
you
similar.
can't finish
It's a
'cause
similar
it's
thing.
Stupid. You're saying
No,
you're
it's not
saying
similar.
because everyone believes in it, then it must be true.
No, I'm not saying it must be true. It is possible that India doesn't exist, and there is a conspiracy just to trick me.
No, it's
No,
not, because you can go
that's
there.
not possible.
Really
Well, from
pushing
my- no,
this
wait,
false
from my
equivalency
perspective,
angle, eh?
From my perspective, it is because I've never been to India. You know what I
Who
mean?
gives a shit? You can book a plane and
Okay.
fucking go there.
It's not an
Oh yeah,
extraordinary
no, yeah, that's a
claim.
good point. That's actually a good point because
And
people
yeah,
can just
you do
decide
have
to go there. So yeah,
you do have
actually,
the
that is a
option
good
to
point.
just get on a plane, yes, exactly, and go there. Do you have the option to go into the thermodynamics violation that you believe is in the sky? Can you just jump on a jet and do that?
I mean, you can do a lot of the experiments yourself, though. I
What
guess,
what
yeah, that is-
experiments?
well, you can get a gyroscope to see the Earth's. You can measure
No,
your
you
weight
can't.
at the equator and at higher
No, you
latitudes.
can't.
You can go to South.
By-
You can actually go to Antarctica
By the
if you want.
time, so you measure your weight, and then you fly on a flight, and your weight's different. What's your water consumption that day? What did you eat on the plane?
Yeah.
Like, it's fucking stupid.
Those
No,
were both a
obvi-
complete
obviously-
non sequitur too, because we
you
were
would be
talking
using
about the
a
fairy
method
tale
mass.
thermodynamics violation of outer space that you think is in
Yeah.
the sky, right? And then you went to rotation and other things that have nothing directly to do with that. Do you have anything coherent to say, Pinky?
Oh, I wasn't responding to your question. To be
Yeah,
honest,
you
I
weren't
don't really.
responding. It was
Yeah.
just non sequitur what you said.
I was
Yeah.
talking to someone else. To be honest, I feel like going down these very specific cases one by one is something that we could do, but I'd rather just keep it high level. And to be honest, I do have to.
High
I just wanted to
level?
respond
You're
to what's
talking.
his name?
Your high
Era-
level
era-
was
era
saying
grass,
that
but-
India may not exist. That's not high level.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so I know. So I do have to go, but I will let you guys have the last word because I don't want to feel like I'm just like saying a bunch of stuff and then leaving. So if you guys please
But you are.
tell me why I'm wrong, and then I'll
Yeah.
just
Go find us an experiment that shows gravity containing air pressure.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I could respond if you want, but I feel like, yeah,
Yeah, you feel like there's probably
Why, have
nothing
you
really to
got one?
respond with, so might as well leave.
Yeah, have you got one?
all right. Well, I just said I wouldn't. Okay, what about the sun? Isn't there like images of the sun? That's
Yeah,
that
here we go.
all of-
Yeah.
I think, so you guys, this is why I don't want to do it because you guys have heard of all of this before. I think so. Anyway,
Yeah.
I do have to go, but nice to talk to you, especially you, Ara Gress. And
Stay
I'll
blessed, man.
Ethergrass Tyson.
Aethergrass. Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
I don't think he likes us, heretic.
No. Not too much. See, I asked for a really specific experiment, and then he starts waffling about the sun.
Well, we were having a lovely conversation until you guys started asking him for experiments.
My bad.
Sorry, man.
I got triggered at the India thing too.
Yeah, I saw what he was doing there, but that is just, oh my god. That's why I had this image ready. I was posting. The soap is surfing. It doesn't work here.
Yeah,
I think it's something to do with his voice. His voice annoys me.
yeah, it kind of does.
He's very high strung. Talks rapidly.
Yeah, for a
I
young
can
guy.
talk.
Yeah,
I can
needs
talk
to
really
relax.
fast too, but I'm just not in the mood to do that right now. I'm kind of trying to chill. I'm like in
There's no
chill
need
mode
to.
right now.
When you speak so fast, you kind of just trip over yourself anyway.
He admitted that he was like, I'm about to kind of gish gallop right now, and then he just kind of hopped on his little gish galloping horse and started off he went. Okay, man. But yeah, I understand what he was saying. That's the thing that's exactly the point though, is the passion behind that is very reminiscent of, as I was saying before, religious belief. The same type of zealotry. And then the investing of the hierarchy of that, well, all these people, they believe the same thing that I believe, so we can't all be wrong. My whole church can't be wrong.
What is your profession?
See, old friend, I brought more soldiers than you did.